Hi everyone, my name is Carol and I am the founder of the Sleep Success Academy. And in this video, I wanted to do some tapping with you to help calm down that overactive mind that just shows up at night. Or for some of us, the overthinking mind can show up all times of the day. So you can use this not just before bed, but you can use this tapping sequence we're going to do anytime during a day where you find yourself unable to shut your mind off. So for me, what happened when I wasn't able to sleep was that, like, I used to walk around and this was my line. I had no more off switch for my brain. And so having that as a belief that my brain couldn't shut off made it so that it was really hard for me to fall asleep, if ever, because I couldn't shut off my brain, which was not the truth. It was just how I was programmed at that time because of habits and behaviors that I was doing. And because I had a really hyped up nervous system. Once I started tapping and started changing my behaviors, then I was able to fall asleep. And I still do today, sleep good about 95% of the time. And I fixed my sleep probably 6-7 years ago. And I just want to show you some of the tips and techniques that I've used along the way to make sure I keep good quality sleep for myself. So before we get into tapping, I want to talk to you about a quick little behavior you can do, something I call putting the day to rest. You can take a piece of paper and a journal or whatever it is that's easier for you to use. I just like loose leaf here in my office. I do this at the end of the day when I say, okay, I've got everything done, or I still need these 5 things done. I didn't get a chance to do them today. I will jot them down, so that in the evening, I don't have to think about it. I know when I walk in my office tomorrow morning, I'll have my list. Or it could be other things that you don't want to forget that you want to write down, because our brain will keep thinking about it until it's done, for a lot of us, and it will keep ruminating on it. So if we put it on paper, then we can tell our brain that it doesn't have to think about it till we're ready to do something about it, because we won't forget. So that's the first thing. If you can start doing that for yourself on a daily basis, it will greatly help you reduce your overthinking. So when I think about doing any tapping, my goal is to bring a calming signal to my body so that it stops. But when we're thinking about the overactive brain, what is it that we feel towards the fact that our brain is overactive? Would be a good way that I would want to do this tapping video. There's more than one way to tap for the overactive brain, but this is the way that will go forward in this video. So thinking about the fact that your brain is overactive, what happens to you when you say that? Is there an emotion that shows up? Is there a body sensation that shows up? Is there an image that shows up with that? Is there a belief? My belief is there's no off switch. The emotion that I felt towards the fact that my brain had no more off switch, frustration, right? So start writing some of that stuff down as you think about your overthinking brain. And then we can do a measure on the emotion. So say it's frustration at the fact that my brain has no off switch. 5 maybe in this moment for me, but you just let the number that pops up for you pop up. So I'm going to grab my pen here. I'm going to write frustration. And I'm going to put a 5 next to it. And then I'm just going to write brain, no off switch. And I'm doing that so that I can come back and test or look at what will it be when I'm done with my tapping. Did it change? Did it stay the same? Did it go up? Because then that will guide our next round of tapping. All right, so just start tapping. For those who don't know what tapping is, just follow along with me. Repeat after me when I say something. Just look at the points, and after a while, you'll get the hang of it. All right, so even though I have an overactive mind and it just won't shut off when I go to bed, I deeply and completely love and accept who I am. And even though I have this overactive mind and it will not stop, it's like the off switch is broken. In this moment, I'm okay. And even though I have this overactive mind that keeps me awake at night, it won't allow me to fall asleep. I deeply and completely accept who I am. All right, top of the head, this overactive mind keeps me awake at night. It won't let me sleep. And I feel so frustrated towards that overthinking mind. All this frustration, just thinking about my overthinking mind and the fact that it won't let me sleep at night. All this frustration. So let's go back to the side of the hand. So thinking about the frustration, because my frustration just went up. As I was saying those words, I really was tuning into it, and the frustration went up to an 8. And so I'm going to get really curious with the frustration. What is the frustration about? Right? So ask yourself that question, whatever emotion it is that came up for you. Frustrated about why? Like, what is it about? And I'm going to say I'm frustrated because it's really affecting the quality of my sleep. Right? So even though I feel a lot of frustration towards my overthinking mind, because it's really affecting the quality of my sleep. Oh, I deeply and completely accept who I am. And even though I feel a lot of frustration towards my overthinking mind, because it is affecting the quality of my sleep. And it's taking away from the quality of my life. In this moment, I'm okay. And even though I feel all this frustration is showing up in my body, as I want to take a deeper breath. I'm like, oh, you feel the frustration. So it's okay to feel it in this moment. An overactive mind is getting in the way of my good quality sleep. I acknowledge all this frustration. I am frustrated. I am frustrated towards my overthinking mind, but it is getting in the way of my sleep. I wish there was a way to shut my mind off. Even if I put my day to rest on paper, my mind is still overactive sometimes. And I don't know what to do to shut it off. Feels like my off switch is broken. And I feel all this frustration. So let's just deal with the frustration. Are you feeling that somewhere in your body? As we keep tapping, just tune into the frustration or whatever emotion showed up for you. So for me right now, the frustration is like in my calf muscles, like bottom of my legs. The image that I get is like I'm a little kid who wants to stomp my feet, like, stop it, brain. And it's okay to play with the images that shows up. It's just another way our body releases the energy. If I was by myself tapping, I would actually stand up and I would like stomp my feet as I tap. I would actually let my body do this motion. It's called the procedural memory, that it wants to tap the feet. We want to work through that, do the action that my body wants to do. But for now, I'll just do it in my mind, right? So even though I want to stomp my feet in frustration towards my overactive mind, just want to stomp those feet. I deeply and completely accept who I am. And even though I want to stomp my feet, really wants to stop them on the ground in frustration because my mind won't let me sleep. That's okay. I acknowledge that I feel this way. And even though I just want to stomp those feet, there's so much frustration in there towards my overthinking mind. In this moment, I'm okay. All this frustration. Just right there, as I said that, this is what I want you to start paying attention when you're tapping. All the frustration was just gone. There's no frustration. What's being replaced with is more of a, and then you have to think about it, right? Like, let your body, your mind, what replaces the frustration for me right now is just a dread. Dread is the word. And that's normal for the emotion to switch as you're tapping. And then I would do the same thing. I would say, what's the dread about? Dread because it's happened so many nights. Okay, so even though I'm now feeling this dread because my overactive mind happens almost every night, I acknowledge that is my current way of life. And even though I can feel this dread in my body, thinking of my overactive mind, I wonder if I could see it a different way. So I'm starting to have a shift in my mind of how can I see my overactive mind in a different way? And this is kind of cool when this happened. It's called this cognitive shift. And so all of a sudden I was like, yeah, I do have an overactive mind, but it's very helpful in some ways. So I don't want to get rid of my overactive mind all the time. What if I could just have it be quiet when it's bedtime? But that I can use the power of my overactive mind during the day. That'd be possible for you? Because I'm sure my overactive mind has a purpose. What could that purpose be? Without my overactive mind, wouldn't plan my days the way I do. I wouldn't be so successful in my life, right? My overactive mind has a lot of good to it. I wonder if it's possible that after I put the day to rest on paper, that my overactive mind could become a quiet mind while I sleep. Bring your hands on your heart. So you can keep tapping. Use this video again if you have an overactive mind. Write out why your mind is overactive. Do some tapping on that. What do you feel towards that reason? What do you feel towards your overactive mind? And right now what I'm feeling is a kind of a giddy sense. This kind of joy that's kind of popped up in my heart. And that's what we're wanting to. And I still sometimes get frustrated at this part of my mind that is very active. But the giddy part that's coming out right now is I know today I have a lot of things planned and I'm working on a new project. And because of the power of my mind, I can keep things straight. And so I'm giddy because I'm going to get to use that overactive mind today in a productive way, not to worry at night. And so I wonder for you, as you're thinking and hearing me say this, in what ways could you say thank you to your mind for being overactive when it needs to? And in what ways can we get our mind to shut off when it doesn't need to be overactive so that we can go to sleep? So that's it for today. Again, you can find me on my website, sleepsuccessacademy.com. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email support@sleepsuccessacademy.com. I wish you well with your sleep.